Morning folks, I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School, and what I thought we'd do this morning is we're going to quickly make a tool that's used for an art called Kolrosing, and it was an art of decorating wood that was used back in the Viking era that I would say, without doing further research, I would conclude or theorize that it probably was the precursor to the American art form called scrimshaw. What they would do is take a small sharp tool and score the wood, and then they would rub charcoal into that scoring to decorate the surface of the wood before they sealed it, which is very similar to what you do when you're doing scrimshaw work on horn. We're going to take a small round file that's already got a rat tail on it. We're going to break it off to the length we want. Then I'm just going to grind it down to the point that I'm looking for to give myself a knife sharp edge that's very, very small that I can manipulate to use for Kolrosing. And we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to decorate a spoon that I made yesterday, and I'll show you how that works. Stay with me. Now, we're not going to bother to mess with annealing this or anything else. I've just broken this file off. I'm grinding it basically flat. And then I'm going to grind a knife point at an angle on it. And I want this angled very much like you would see a soldering iron or something like that would have the tip of that iron. Now again, we're just going to use a real simple tool handle for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this blade in a vise just like this. We're going to put a dab of Gorilla Glue in a tool handle. Put the tool handle on top, and we're just going to bang her home. Take a look, see where we're at here. Don't necessarily have to go all the way in. We want to be able to palm this thing a little bit and work with it. We want this tool to be a finite tool. Go just a little bit deeper, I think. Go. Now we can get in there and palm it if we need to. Run that thing on the buffer, make it nice and sharp, and it's just a beveled, sharp edge is all it is. But it gives us a tool for decorating our wood. We'll talk about in just a minute. Okay, so now we have a spoon that we started carving yesterday, and this is the spoon that I actually tested my new scorp on. I shot a short video and posted it to Facebook yesterday using that scorp on the spoon, and then I finished this spoon as far as shaping goes. Now I want to decorate a little bit by Kolrosing, and I've got my Kolrosing notching tool here and cutting tool and a pencil and a sharpener, and I have a set of templates here that were made by a man named Don Nalesti, if I'm pronouncing his name right, Crafts out of Maryland. And I got a hold of this guy through the Spoon Carving and Sloyd Facebook page, and it's a set of credit card sized templates that you use to set up spoon blanks, to draw spoon blanks and draw some of the decorations that you can use on your spoon. And they're just credit card sized templates that you can put in your wallet or whatever, travel with you. They've got a hole in them so that you can put them together on a string if you wanted to, so you wouldn't lose them. I haven't done that yet. I just got these the other day. And what we're going to do is there's one template for making bowls, for shaping your bowl on your spoon. You can see it lays right there on top of my bowl. There's another one for handle shaping. And then there's another one here that's just got some sliders in it. And what those are used for is for making more Celtic, Druidic, or Viking style Swedish designs on your spoons. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to freehand a bit of an outline on here with pencil of what I want to do. And I just want to make this fairly simple. And at the top of this spoon, I've decided that I want to put a cross. So I'm going to use one of these straight edges to get the middle and get a straight edge here. So I'm going to put a simple cross here in the middle, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pattern below that. And I'm going to use this patterning grid to do that with. So I'm going to line that up with my cross here. And my eyes aren't what they used to be. And so you can see I've got that pattern coming across the top there. And I'm going to do the same thing here, going in the opposite direction. Again, all of this stuff with design of spoons and what you're doing with them is all absolutely personal. I want to bring that cross up just a little bit higher than that, so I'm going to erase this line and put a line a little bit higher up. And this gets a little tedious on your eyes, and you may have to take some breaks while you're doing it. But just work with it till you get the design you want, and then you can do your Kolrosing, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Now when you get ready to do your Kolrosing, all you're going to do is take your tool and basically follow the lines that you drew with that tool, splitting and cutting the grain of the wood. You're opening up those grains so that you can fill them with a pigment. And your cross cuts will be a little more difficult than your along the grain cuts, obviously. You can wiggle that thing around a little bit and get a little fancy edge on there where it's a little fatter, if that's what you're looking to do. Palm that tool a little bit. Just kind of go side to side with it. You're not trying to remove wood with Kolrosing. All you're trying to do is score the wood, not remove wood. Okay, so once you have put your pattern in there, now you're going to traditionally take charcoal was the medium that they use, just like they use in scrimshaw. Nowadays, a lot of people use coffee. Well, I just happen to have a forge full of burnt coal, so I can take coal and put it on there and rub it into the pattern, just like this. And you're going to mess up your spoon a little bit when you do this, so you're going to have to sand it again. That's not a big deal. Rub it into the pattern really, really good, just like this. Alright, so when you get that done, get yourself a piece of sandpaper that you've already been using and go to sanding. And you'll be able to see areas as you go where you missed lines and things like that, and you can clean those up. I can already see places I missed lines. You can see places where I kind of overlap lines on here. All of those things are important, and they're part of the learning experience of what you're doing. Now, the very best thing about this is that it's just wood. So if you scored a little bit in areas you didn't want to, or you made a few mistakes that you're worried about, you know what? Sand it completely off and start over again. As long as you didn't cut too deep, you're not going to have to remove too much wood. But if you just got some areas where you got a few mistakes, you're not really worried about it, just go ahead and fix it. It's not that big of a deal. You know, so I'm okay that this thing's not perfect the first time around, because I wouldn't have learned anything had it come out perfect. And I like the fact that it looks like it's not perfect, because it looks like a regular guy did it, not an artisan. But I wanted to introduce you to this form of decoration today called Kolrosing, because I thought it would interest you. Again, I think it's probably the precursor to more modern day scrimshaw that we saw along the Appalachian frontier. So I wanted to show it to you today as I was finishing up this spoon. Folks, I appreciate you joining me out here today for just a quick video on Kolrosing and how it's accomplished. Again, you know, I'm far from an expert at this kind of stuff. That's the first time I ever tried Kolrosing, at least that I knew what it was. I've done it before on different projects and really didn't even know what it was called and didn't know how intricate it could be done. I'm starting to find out by doing research on how intricate these designs can be. But again, I'm okay with less than perfect because I think it makes it more common man. I have seen lots and lots of powder horns that were antiques from along the American frontier in the Appalachian area that are far from what I would consider, you know, an artisan type scrimshaw job. They were just common guys in the woods scribbling on their horns and then filling it in with ashes or gunpowder to make the line drawings black on the horn. And I think that this is a very good representation of that. Someone who's not an artist, who just does something to make something his own. And that's what Kolrosing is all about. So I would encourage you to give it a shot. I'm Dave Canterbury from Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, and for our business, for all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. And don't forget, tonight, 10 o'clock in National Geographic, Dirty Rotten Survival. Thanks, guys.